The following program is an LTX Enterprises production. The Falls Count Everywhere podcast would like to mention our friends at the following. The Searcher and Hide podcast. For mind-intriguing discussions about wrestling, movies, Bigfoot, aliens, and everything in between, then look no further than the Searcher and Hide podcast. You can find the Searcher and Hide podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms. Go check them out today. And Outside the Ring STL. Join Shaft, Lucy, General Vader, and others who share their love for professional wrestling as they talk about the recent shows from the major wrestling companies, all independent promotions from around the St. Louis area, and even talk about great moments in St. Louis professional wrestling history. Find them on Facebook at Outside the Ring STL. Get ready for episode number 18 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast, featuring longtime professional wrestling technician Reid. This podcast is scheduled for one episode where falls count everywhere. We thank all of you tuning into tonight's program here on the Lime Time Podcast Network. Before we officially begin, we pay honor, respect, and salute the greatest nation in the world as we play our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for that ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the
What's going on, everybody? It is your Thursday Night Ritual right here on the Lifetime Podcast Network, bringing you episode number 18 here of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. I am, of course, one of your co-hosts here, Rough Cut Rick Ruby. And, man, let me tell you, it's been quite a week or so for me, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But on the other side here of the spectrum here is our other co-host, who has now apparently got another client since this past weekend. And Mr. GQ, Matthew Wayne Schuyler III, is actually...
Hi, Poppy. How you doing?
Oh, geez. Here we go with this whole Poppy stuff. God, man. It's an inside joke that I'm not going to even try to even bother anybody with right now.
It's not that much of an inside joke. It was all over Snapchat. So, I mean, just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Unfortunately, our network's not on Snapchat, but, it's whatever the case may be. But, hey, let's kind of get down to brass tacks here, shall we? We are on the... Of course, what we push here a lot here is... this past weekend in St. Clair, American Championship Wrestling. That's where we were at, and that's where you found a new client in ACW, and this is where I got worked like a dog. So,
Woof.
Yeah, woof. Yeah, woof is right. I might as well just sit and beg. So, hold on here. Someone's trying to message the show. But hey, everybody that's here tonight, we're going to have, so just kind of...
Don't they know we're live? Why message now?
Yeah.
Wait till after the show.
I know, a couple people have done that, but I guess they can't wait till we get, trying to get things started and underway here. But just let everybody know here that this is later, roughly about 8:25 or 8:30, we will have Reid on. Who is our featured guest tonight? And of course, there's a call-in number, and the lines are open again. We actually got a different phone system back in place, and we should be able to get calls in here. So we'll get over that here in just a little bit. But hey, let's talk about ACW, man. 406 paid to watch this show. Over 400 people. And this is in an area where there was no fear of being close to one another, because you had to pack the place, GQ, because and it was even in an outside show. We had 4 sets of bleachers. There was chairs all around the ring, and even people standing beyond that. There was actually, technically, there was standing room only. So you gotta put your hands together for at least ACW for doing the job that they did as far as getting this show together. So how did you like your first appearance in ACW, GQ?
That was the second. I mean, yeah.
Oh, it was?
You may not remember things, but yeah, I was there for the Stud Memorial Show. So.
Oh, that's right. Yes, of course. Yes.
And by the way, I managed that guy on that show too.
Oh yeah, you sure
Big
did.
Texan. So. Okay.
Well, I guess. Yeah. So I guess Big Texan is trying to move his way up the ranks. We also saw Cayman coming in and making his presence known. But.
It spit in holy water in my face or something. That stuff burned. I don't know what the hell it was. He had a creepy little 300-year-old girl and everything there. I don't. It is.
He look younger than all of us. Must be something in that water keep them young. Man, I'll tell you what, it probably would help me quite a bit throughout my night. But
I wonder if you gave him a Twinkie if he disintegrates too.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, there is a. So there had been some controversy in some events that happened at this show, and I will show some still shots here in a moment. But what I did post on here is that we do have an exclusive interview that we caught yesterday with the man who currently still holds the title, which is Brian James, who had to defend the title against me, ironically, and I told everybody that I was going to beat Reid, and of course we're going to be talking about that later. But hey, it was quite interesting to say the least on this show, and I'm just happy that we're back wrestling again in Missouri, and I mean we could talk forever about it, but. Like I said, we'll just. I don't know what our next show is, but I'm going to guarantee you this: there's going to be a different outcome, and as you'll hear me tell Brian here. So, before we get to the interview, I don't know if there's any other comments you had, or you're trying to get the Big Texan up to the number 1 contendership too. I bet, GQ, aren't you?
He put his shoulder to the grindstone in that match, and he came out a victor on that one. So,
yeah, and from what I understand, he is speaking of shoulder. I think that's what he hurt too. So hopefully he heals up.
That was a hidden comment that I was saying it like that, Ruby. Yeah. I know humor is not really common sense to you sometimes, but that was kind of a lighthearted thing there. I mean,
yeah,
you'll catch on one of these days, especially if you actually will go to school and learn how to spell stuff.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, here we go. We actually caught the interview here with
how to spell taught.
Yeah, self-taught. Yeah, of course. But we've got the interview ready to go here. This is featuring Brian James, and we're going to take you to that interview right now. All right, we're here with an exclusive interview here on the Falls Count Everywhere podcast here on the Lifetime Podcast Network.
And you're really cutting into my time here. It's not even our regular day, and you're recording this. Really, come on.
Oh, you're shopping for snacks. It doesn't cut into your time, GQ. Come on now. Hey, I've got busy things here too as well. But I think we need to address more than one elephant in the room here, and. So
I don't know what you're saying on that one, but
yeah,
we'll just keep going.
Yeah. So On the line right now, we do have an exclusive here because we're going to be talking about what happened this past weekend. Of course, American Championship Wrestling was in St. Clair this past Saturday, and I've got a bone to pick with the Searcher myself because it took me about 2 days to recover because I haven't wrestled in 7 months, and I was worked more than the government mule, as old JR would say. But on the line with us right now, GQ, is the current and successfully defended ACW heavyweight champion, the Bomb, Brian James. So, Brian, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man.
All right. Well,
I'm having an awesome day.
You're having an awesome day. Well, I guess so because you're still the champion despite what you and I have been through. And it's like I said, if people know our past, it's not the first time we've crossed paths, but it's been the first time in a while. And I just
Hey, let me cut you short for a minute.
all right.
You know, me and you going against each other. That was one of the toughest matches I had. You know, and I have to give it to you. You know, you was great in the ring. It was awesome. It was tough. But I know I still came out on top. You know, I still have the gold. I'm still walking around
Yeah.
with the gold.
Yeah, I know you're still walking around with the gold. I understand that, but
You'd be surprised how many people are still checking this out and can't believe I still have the gold after the biggest night of my life this past weekend.
Yeah, well, I have some bones to pick myself. So the thing I don't understand here is with the Searcher, and I'm sorry here, but I take care of business inside the ring, and I also take care of business outside the ring. This is my inside business right now. But the thing is that I had that number one contendership for a long time, and for some reason, I had to defend it again by defeating Reid, and then I had to face you again. You only wrestled one time that night, Brian. In my humble opinion, I don't think that was fair. That I had to go. You should at least did a warm up match, man. But now I had to. I had to face you at the end of the night, and I was pretty much tired at that point. So I think you had the advantage there.
Well, that's something that you got to take up with the Searcher. And if it was me, I'm pretty sure I could have wrestled twice that night and still beat you.
Oh, okay. All right. But we'll never know that because you didn't wrestle that night. And I think GQ, do you think that's fair that I had to wrestle twice that night and the Brian James only had to wrestle just by defending his title against a tired, worn out individual such as myself going into that main event?
It's one of those things. It's fair, and I have to stick with you on this one and everything. And you even went out there to make sure that Miss Hyde was doing okay, and somehow Brian tripped you when you went in, or you fell right on her. I mean, Brian was trying to be as mean as heck on all that. So,
yeah, well, Brian was kind of helpless against. He wanted to be handcuffed to the ropes just to prove a point. So, yeah, Miss Hyde is accident prone, and sorry I accidentally fell on her with my leg. I mean, accidents happen, but
Accidents happen. Wait a minute, that's my partner. You gave my partner a clothesline. That was not fair.
Oh,
well, she's a woman. That's not fair.
Well, I was actually
trying to get her a leg drop.
I'm going to say it like this. Don't assume her gender. I mean, she doesn't look feminine. I mean, so she may not be a woman. You never know.
Oh.
Hey,
you don't know how things are nowadays.
She's all woman. Yeah. And she could go out there. She could beat any man one-on-one.
I wouldn't consider Gator Smith a very manly opponent, but that's just my humble opinion. Obviously, he was a little bit rough around the edges, and I guess I was trying to show Gator Smith a thing or two, but I accidentally ran into Miss Hyde instead. Like I said, accidents happen, and then I accidentally fell on her. So, accidents happen. I mean, the over 400 people in St. Clair saw the real truth that I was the one, the rightful one, trying to maintain or justify my actions there. And so, I mean, so what? Something happens, and then Miss Hyde wasn't at the main event, but the chipster, the judge there, Judge Chip, was at ringside, and you decided to throw something in Chip's face, and then you gave me a low blow without the referee looking at it. And that's lucky for you because, like I said, you even said yourself, Brian, it was a hard-fought match, right? So
yes, it was.
So I gotta say, why did you do that reverse low blow on me, man?
Hey, Brian James has to do what he has to do to keep the gold around his waist.
Oh, I see. But you're saying that you were kind of insecure because Miss Hyde wasn't there in your corner that night? Am I
She
getting?
will always be in my corner, where she's back there watching it on the big screen, or she's out there with me. She will always be watching. But like I said, the gold belongs to Brian James, and Brian James got to do what he got to do to defeat anybody for his gold.
Yeah, but I understand. But I mean,
well, here's the thing, though, Ruby. When the dust settled or the powder settled, you ended up being on the losing end of that for right now. So,
yeah, but I will tell you this. Okay, this is far from over, and I know what relation Miss Hyde is to the Searcher. Everybody knows that. If you don't know how Searcher and Miss Hyde are related, get your head out of the tunnel and realize what's going on here. It was a conspiracy to begin with for the entire night. How I had to defend my number one contendership. Now there's another number one contender waiting in the wings, and as far as the Butcher is concerned. But I'm sorry, Brian. We're far from over from this, and that was not a fair victory to me. As far as throwing something in Chip's face when Chip was trying to give me some advice, and you gave me a low blow, man. You nutshotted me, and then you want to cap it off by doing a clean move and pinning me 1, 2, 3. We all know what happened that night, and I think down the line very soon, whenever ACW comes back around again, I think I deserve another shot at that title. I really do.
Well, you know what? You could go to the commissioner, Searcher, and ask for a rematch, sign a contract, and however you want the match to be, I would give that to you.
All right.
But I'm not sure if you're the next one up in line for the title.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I'm sure
you might have to stand in the back of the line until your turn come back around.
Oh, now, wait a minute. So you're telling me that you cheated me out to make me go to the back of the line. Brian, I'm telling you right now, and even I can get the reference of a good attorney through Mr. GQ, that your victory was tainted. It was. And no matter how you look at it, it was tainted. There was video proof of that. And then when I show my attorneys with that, I'll guarantee you that next time you defend that title, it will be against me. And I know, so you didn't have Miss Hyde at ringside, true. I had the judge at ringside. But I think next time, and I'm going to approach the Searcher, and I'm going to say, hey, Searcher, for your daughter's safety and for fairness, I'll have the judge back, not at ringside with me, and we're going to come up with a match that involves a stipulation where nobody's at ringside, and that maybe even possibly, if you're comfortable with that, Brian, that there's no... that you can't get disqualified. So that kind of gives you an advantage so you can give me a low blow again to keep your championship. Does that sound fair to you?
You know what? That would be fair. But when you lose again, you only get one shot.
Oh.
And that's all I'm giving you, one more shot.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So
going to tell you right. Yeah.
You're going to have to go inside the back of the line because there's a lot of guys that want shots at this title.
Yeah, well... I'll tell you what, if I get one more shot, then I'm going to guarantee you this. You're not going to have a line, my friend, because you won't be the one holding that title anymore if I get another shot. And I'm going to guarantee you this. There will be a stipulation in that match, and it's going to be a match to where all rules are thrown out the door, and the best in either the winner is going to be by pinfall or submission. And that's all I'm going to tell you on that. And I think GQ's got maybe a list of stipulations we could throw in there as well. Wouldn't you say, GQ?
But I don't know if I want to get involved with this one and everything because you lost your shot, and one of my guys actually got a little further up the ladder a little bit. So I'm just going to sit over here and let you all talk.
Oh, come on!
You know what? That's the smartest thing you said since you've been on here.
Yeah. You're talking to a guy. You're talking to a guy who ran away from a little girl that had a mask on. That creeped him out.
She was a creepy little girl. I'm sorry. She was scary.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, GQ. You got to give me a reference to an attorney. That's all I need you for,
that
man.
ain't the case, then I could have the little girl to come out to make sure he don't even show up either.
That works for me.
Yeah. Well, I don't get creeped out easy, especially by a little girl with a mask who looks at me funny like a Chucky doll. I don't care. But as far as
300 years old.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old the girl is. So, you said she was 100 years old, so she's youth and spirit?
300.
300?
Hey.
Oh. Maybe Brian could...
I think that might be a good idea. I probably could reach out to her, and she probably could come out with me to keep everybody away.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, Miss Hyde won't have anything to do at ringside if she's smart, and I will make sure that the judge will that will not get involved as well and won't be at ringside. So when that time comes, Brian, hey, when this next show comes up, I'm gonna tell the searcher, that he owes me one. And even if somebody else gets a shot at the title before me, let's just say there's gonna be a little bit of hell to pay. You thought last Saturday was bad? Oh, trust me, you haven't seen nothing yet. So hang on to your title. Do whatever you can to make sure it's secure. Polish it up for me, because next time when I meet you, you might have a little bit of a different outcome. You may not walk away that night still having your title. So it's not a threat, but it may be a spoiler for you. So just keep that in mind.
Well, I do have an open invitation for anybody that would like to walk down to the ring and think they're tough enough to take on the bomb, Brian James.
All right. Well, so at this point, I'm just going to let things go. We know this is, we're talking about this is the aftermath from ACW's Freedom from St. Clair. We've been talking with the Bomb, Brian James, the current ACW heavyweight champion. But Brian, all I can say is keep on, just keep training the way you're training, man, because I'll tell you what, you're going to need it next time you step in the ring with me.
I will be ready for you.
You're going to be ready for me? All right. Well,
I will be ready.
All righty. Well, what we'll do here is we're going to take a little bit of a break. We thank you, Brian, for joining us. Me and GQ will be back, and we will have our featured guest on. That would be Reid Rain. Stay tuned, guys, and we will be back. And we are back here with your Thursday Night Ritual, the Falls Count Everywhere podcast here on the Lime Time Podcast Network here. It's myself and Mr. GQ, Matthew Wayne Schuyler III.
Hey, Ruby, if you ever, in your area, I don't know, they have it or whatever, there's a store called Schnucks. I know you lost your nuts this past weekend, and you can probably pick them up there.
That's real funny. That's real funny. Yeah, after seeing and hearing all of that, yeah, I'm sure that's it's real hilarious, dude. Thanks, I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. So let's get down to our featured guest of the evening here. Our featured guest of the evening. Nope, it does not come out the single. Sorry. Give me 1 second.
I would have done ripped into that one if that was the case. You know that. So
I was gonna say somebody does, but you can't find them anywhere on eBay or Facebook. But anyway, our featured guest this evening has been perfecting his in-ring craft in the wrestling business for over 17 years. His career experience has spanned across multiple states in the Midwest and going all the way down to Texas. He gained early success winning heavyweight and tag team championships within his first couple of years. He's with us tonight to talk about what he has in store for his wrestling future and also to discuss the events of what went down this past Saturday in St. Clair, Missouri for ACW's Freedom. Let's give a big Falls Count Everywhere podcast welcome to Reid Rain. Reid, what's going on, man?
Hey, Rick. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. Yeah, well, let's, yeah. Yeah, GQ is like, what? What? I'm here too, Well, so
hey, GQ.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't GQ. I think he's kind of a little bitter after what happened this past weekend. So let's kind of address that elephant in the room if we can here. So all right, so Reid, I'll have to say this. All right, I know you and I have faced each other because the winner of that match that we had would have gone on to face Brian James, which was me. So, but here's my defense, okay? I had no idea that Judge Chip was going to throw something or wait a minute, hold on. Let's because we've been hearing contradicting reports here that actually Chip didn't throw anything. It was actually somebody from the audience trying to aim it, I guess, at the ring, and it just happened to get you in the eye. So I don't know. What? Oh, okay, that's fine. So if you can't see this, Reid, GQ's throwing up a hashtag Ruby Cheats. So I guess that's the hashtag. That we're going with here tonight. So if you're the picture will come across here shortly here, and with Reid Rain getting the powder, it was actually in your face. So Reid, I gotta say, man, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't do it. So do you know who did it?
Listen, let's take a step back on this thing because I feel like the last couple of times that you and I have wrestled, I get the short end of the stick. We can go all the way back to Melville High School 6 months ago, and I've got the figure 4 on Hot Chocolate Curtis Payne. I got him watching his hand, get ready to tap that mat, and all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, I get this leg drop, right? I didn't see it coming. I feel like I had that match won. It is what it is. I respect you as a wrestler. I'm sure that if roles were reversed, I would have done the same thing to win the number 1 contendership. But then we get to this. This past Saturday,
and we're having a real good match, back and forth, crowds in it, everybody's popping, and then whoever hits me with this stuff, man, it just felt like a slap in the face.
Well, from what I've understood is that it smelled kind of fresh too. And if you haven't done so already, I mean, I'm serious about this. You might want to go check out. You go find an attorney and go see a doctor, because we just don't want you getting struck with ovarian cancer. Because of what happened here. Because it does kind of feel like baby powder that could have been thrown in here. So, but I'm sorry. I mean, that was kind of a low blow of sorts. So, okay, here we go. GQ is real funny tonight. Hashtag side of beef leg drop. Well, hey, so I had to do what I had to, Reid, and you know what? I know things went down, and as far as there was a controversy ending to that. So, I will say you did have me. I think if nothing would have happened, if nothing could have gone in there, I think you could have gotten the figure 4 leg lock on it. Now, would I've gotten out of it? I don't know. But there will be more opportunities coming with American Championship Wrestling when we start getting more shows in. So, but I mean, seriously, how are your eyes, man? I mean, you doing okay?
I'm doing great, man. Been hitting the gym, trying to stay on point. And, again, respect you very much as a wrestler, respect ACW, and all I want to do is continue building this legacy that we have and putting on good shows.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man.
How do we know that white stuff didn't fall out of the wig? That's one of those powdered wigs, right?
Yeah, that looks like a powder wig. Yeah. So, but I don't know if there was powder in that wig. I hate to imagine, what could have been in that powder, because that is just old powder. If it's something like that, of course they have teased about something that could have been like some type of substance, but there's way too much powder for anybody to be carrying that around. But I'm not going to go there.
I think Iron Sheik could do it.
Sheiky's got that kind of money to get that kind of Ziploc sandwich bag.
No, he's got that high tolerance is what he has.
Oh
whatever it was, guys, it blinded me for about 25 minutes. I was in the back trying to wash that stuff out of my eyes. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know it's. I don't know. I know if I would have got hit with it, I would have been. I probably would have been in quite a bit of disposition myself. So.
Well, you wouldn't have been chafed either.
Yeah. Hey, you. If it makes you feel any better, you got complimented on your intro music in the chat room. Best music ever. It is pretty good, though, I will say.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So good stuff. Probably one of the best, probably the best song I think that Avenged Sevenfold ever had. But it's just my opinion. Whether my opinion means anything or not, I don't know. But all right, so probably not. No, opinions are like buttholes, right? Everybody's got one, and sometimes your butt looks like your face. So,
Right.
All right. So let's get down to it, man. So tell us. So kind of tell us how your love for professional wrestling started. Like, who were your favorite wrestlers growing up, and how did you get your chance to get into the wrestling business?
Pretty good story, actually. While I was in the Navy on the USS Ronald Reagan, so it was a big aircraft carrier, and so you didn't have many channels to watch. So wrestling was pretty much one of the only things we could get on TV, and me and a couple of guys were constantly watching it, because we grew up watching, Stone Cold and, Triple H and all these guys. And so we're wrestling in what they call the berthing, where we sleep, wrestling around. And when I got out of the military, I had told those guys, when I get out of here, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And, we all got a big laugh about all of that. And I, just kind of fell in my lap about 3 months after I got back home, and I was going to the bars and doing the things that normal early 20s do. Ran into Joker working, and he just happened to go, "Hey, come check out my wrestling show." And I'm like, "What are you talking? What's that?"
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. We got somebody who's going to be wanting to talk to Reid Rain here, so don't interrupt your story here real quick, brother.
Yeah. So anyway, he was like, "Hey, I have this wrestling show coming up. You ought to come watch it." And I was like, "What do you mean wrestling?" You know, I didn't know there was anything like that around. So I decided to go check it out. And I mean, that was it. I mean, I fell in love with it from the moment I walked in that door, and I was at the training center the next week, and I was off to the races, man. And I have just loved it. Like, I love my wife, man, ever since. And I can't live without it. And I'm going to probably be one of those 50 or 60-year-old guys that still trying to get in the ring and bump around, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, but before we go any further, we do have a caller on the line. You're on the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Who is this?
This is Mary.
Hey, Mary, how you doing tonight?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. So you wanted to talk to Reid?
Yeah.
All right, well,
How
here's
does
all
your
the...
mom feel about you wrestling?
What's that?
How does your mom feel about you wrestling?
She loves it.
Does she really? She's so proud.
Listen, lady, if you're not going to praise me about how amazing I am and
My
how great
phone
a
just
career
went
I've
out.
had, you need to hit the line.
Well, there you go. Oh, here we go. All right, you got the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Who is this?
This is Mary.
Oh, hey, Mary. Long time no talk. How you doing?
My phone went out.
Okay. So do you think Reid's mom would approve of him wrestling, even if he goes to if he wrestles if he goes to 50 years old wrestling?
Yeah, she's okay with it.
Yeah, you think so?
He's a tough cookie.
I bet Reid loves his mom too.
I do, very much. She's
I
probably
just
the one
wanted to
person
call
in the world that's had
Proud
my
of
back
you,
my whole
John.
life. So.
All right. Well,
All right.
Hey, they know you're my mom. You know that, right?
They didn't know it at first.
I graduated. I graduated with the honors of putting 2 and 2 together.
Reid ratted you out before we came on live. He ratted you out already. Just saying.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he can't ever keep his mouth shut.
Oh, that's
So
classic.
everything.
Oh, that's classic. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
All right, well, I'll let other people talk.
All right. Hey, Mary, thanks for calling.
See
ya.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold
on, Mary, hold on. What kind of embarrassing stories do you have on Reid?
Oh, wow. Calling inaudible. That's a good one.
Stories?
Yeah, what kind of stories?
Any embarrassing
kind of
stories
story?
whatsoever when he was a kid?
Any embarrassing stories, huh? How about that?
Embarrassing stories.
Uh-oh.
God. Yeah, we don't have enough time. That's true.
We're not going to have enough time.
I couldn't even begin. All I can tell you, he's been an athlete since he was probably 1 year old. Started with soccer and went into wrestling, and he's always been an athlete.
Soccer?
I don't really have any embarrassing stories. John, do you have any embarrassing stories I can tell?
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty. I was flicking my boots, wondering what was coming out of your mouth next.
I'm not like you. I don't tell all.
No, just tell some.
When did he stop wetting the bed? Okay.
Oh, come on, GQ. No one wants to know that. Oh,
He
that's
was very young.
We're
very young.
I'm paying for this one. I know it already. I'm just going to pay for it next time I see him. I know that. So it's worth it, though. So.
Yeah. I bet. Well.
All right. I'll let you guys go.
All right, Mary. Thanks a lot for calling in. Keep
See you,
on
Mom.
listening.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You kind of got off the hook there,
Your
Reid.
mom's a lot cooler than Playboy's dad. I'm just saying.
Oh.
She's a definitely a trooper, man. I've put her through a lot over the years, and she's taken it with a grain of salt, man. She's a fantastic person.
Wow. Well, that's. I mean, hey, like I said, I think that's the first time that's the first here on this podcast. I had some worker's mother call into the show, but hey, it went a lot better than it could have, right?
You got it.
Yeah, it could have gone. They're like, why are you doing this for? You would kind of be like my mom, but God love her. Anyway, we'll move on. So
we kind of need her to call in one day.
Oh no, it's okay. It's all right. Trust me. I'll have to take a double dose. I'll have to get the whiskey bottle nearby just to kind of get through that when it comes to this. So, which wrestler inspired you the most, Reid, to get involved inside of the professional wrestling ring?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Which wrestler inspired you to get inside the ring?
Well, in person, it was Joker. If we're talking about, who I was a big fan of, back then, I would say it kind of started with Stone Cold, just because, just like everybody, he was ruthless and, flipping people off and everything. And I thought he was hilarious. But as I began wrestling and really wanted to try to create a persona and figure out how I wanted to be as a professional wrestler, I think I leaned on, Chris Jericho a lot and Edge a lot. Those are two guys that I followed quite a bit and watched and studied and tried to, mimic certain things, but make them my own. But just kind of create that persona would probably be those two guys.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Stone Cold and Jericho. Yeah, those. Jericho is still fantastic today inside the ring. So it's
absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Yeah. GQ's got our next one. So.
Well, I'm going to say it in my own words because apparently the producer don't know how to spell taut. I'm just saying. But
he's fired. I gave him a message earlier.
Get the hell out of my life. Who needs you? Beat it. Leave me alone.
Anyway, so you were saying that when like the following week after you saw the show with Joker, you started training and everything. Who trained you and taught you all your ring basics and everything?
Well, when I very first started, I started with UWA. That's when I first walked in, and they didn't really have a trainer per se at that point. It was just a couple of guys, Dice and Joker and Shorty Biggs had just started with me, and we were kind of just learning the very, very basics, how to take a bump, rolls, things of that nature. And then shortly after that, a training center opened up that was Max, Mid-America Extreme. And that's where I got the bulk of my training. And that training was Lightfoot and Harsh were two of the main trainers there. And those two guys, taught me so much about psychology and bumping. And, I still remember, wanting to be able to kip up, back then, and tried it over and over and over. And Lightfoot just kept putting me in these 5-6 move sets, that had a kip up in it over and over and over. And finally, in the middle of a training session, I just landed on my feet and froze. And he goes, finish the set. And, I finished it, and we were all cheering, and I was so freaking excited because I had been working on that forever. But after that, kind of moving down the line, I got trained. Dingo helped me quite a bit when I was with GCW training down there. Trent Stone helped me a lot, moving, a couple years down the line once we were kind of both considered, I guess, veterans. We bounced ideas off and practiced things. So, I had a lot of guys helping me here and there. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a handful of people that contributed to my training. But then I did, after the Max era, that couple of years, I did get an opportunity to go down and live in Texas and train at Texas Pro Wrestling Association, which was owned by Skander Akbar. I'm sure wrestling fans are going to know who he is. And I trained down there for about 4 months and lived down there. And that was, again, just stuff that you can't ever forget in your life. It's just priceless things that happen. So,
man, goodness gracious, yeah.
And very few people nowadays would even have the chance to have Akbar on their resume like you did. So that shows a whole hell of a lot that you've had a lot of good people in your ear and helping you along your way.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent. So let's just kind of go to that point. After you had your training down in Texas, so I was going to, can you remember the first match you had after you got done with training down in Texas with Akbar? Like, who did you face? And is there any particular memory that stands out in your mind most about that first match you had after you got done with that training?
Well, the Akbar training was probably about 3 or 4 years into my career.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know that I remember exactly what match was when I got back from there.
Oh, okay.
I would say if we want to talk about my first match,
yeah, let's do that.
That was under a mask because I had stage fright like you wouldn't believe. Believe it or not, I used to sing karaoke at bars to try to get over stage fright just so I could wrestle.
Wow.
And so my very first match in UWA, I came out and I came out with an American flag mask on. It was a squash match. And I can't, his name is right on the tip of my tongue. I can't put it out, but it was real quick. It was something to just kind of get me acclimated, to see what it was like in front of a crowd and all that type of thing. And then after that, because Shorty Biggs and I were training, 3-4 times a week together, and we started to get familiar, that was the guy that I wrestled on a pretty regular basis for the first couple of years of my career, kind of up and down. Right after that very first match, I actually was Static, and that was my wrestling name. And I had this green and white outfit and a green and white mask, and I got made fun of a lot. And then kind of moving a little bit past that, I was in the training center with, again, Shorty Biggs, and trying to figure out a name. And I said I always liked the name Reid. And we're bouncing ideas back and forth, and Shorty just happened to go, "What about Reid Rain?" And I went, "That's it. I like that." And that's where the name came, and that was kind of the beginning stages of my career, first 2 years probably.
Oh, goodness, man. Well, like I said, it's, when you get your first match ever, it's not always going to be usually underneath your your gimmick that you or persona that you have today. Usually that with that, but it's kind of funny to go under a mask and kind of hide. You know, as far as that, I mean, I don't know. There's very few times I've actually went under a mask, and I'm not going to expose that, but but that's kind of cool though.
Right.
To kind
That's
of
right.
shut up, dude. Oh my gosh. So after getting started in the wrestling business, you know, it could be at any point, but which wrestler or wrestlers have you looked up to for guidance and advice to help guide your success?
I think the names that I've said that kind of trained me and helped me through for the most part, those are the guys, Joker and Shorty Biggs and Harsh and Lightfoot, Trent Stone. Trent and I spent a lot of time together before he moved on to move down to train with Harley for a couple of years, and now moved to Minnesota. But we spent a lot of time together. Dingo's another guy that taught me a lot, that I always looked up to him, watched him, studied him. Mischief was another one I studied and watched over the years.
Yeah.
Even Corey Twist way back when, he was, lack of a better term, he was electrifying in that ring, man. He really knew how to captivate that crowd and how to get people rocking and rolling, and I really appreciated that. I loved watching him too.
Oh yeah, Corey Twist. Oh boy, yeah, that. Yeah, we're talking early 2000s, mid 2000s, and I know you probably mentioned. I don't know if you just mentioned it or not, but with Big Ben and all that too. But the GCW guys, and I know that's probably one of the groups that you were involved with. As you were, building up your resume for work and all that, and trust me, that's quite a sound resume to kind of build yourself with. I don't know if you got it. I don't know if Delirious was still around at that point. I know that, Delirious has been, he originally came around here, and of course, mainly all throughout ROH. God, I had to say almost about the past 14, 15 years, and.
I think Delirious was still in the area, but till about 2004 or 5, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say around that. So
yeah, by the time I got to GCW, it was probably around that 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And Delirious, Matt Sudell, they had already kind of been through GCW and kind of made it. A little bit higher than that. So I personally, I had worked on 1 or 2 shows with Matt Sydal, but I never worked. I don't think I worked a show at Delirious, maybe one, but it was pretty brief. Those guys had kind of preceded me.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I wanted to say one more thing. Another guy that was fantastic with helping me with psychology and training at times was Sean Vincent. He helped me quite a bit too.
Oh yeah. Sean Vincent, of course, still around the area, still mainly with Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. That's Herb Simmons' promotion, and and of course also helping out with the Ace Wrestling Academy whenever they get. I don't know if that has been up and running. I haven't really gotten any confirmation on how they're running their academy right now or not, due to the whole situation with the COVID and so forth. But yeah, definitely some good sound guys to get good advice from, and have been around the pike pretty well. So I know we talked about a few of the groups that you've been with. GQ's got another question here for you. To see if there's.
Well, what have been all the promotions that you what promotions have you worked with throughout your career, and what was probably your favorite one out of all of them?
Yeah, there's a lot. I sent that over because I had to actually go back into my files and pictures and everything. So I've wrestled in several states. I would say my favorite companies I worked for was HCWA up in Iowa. It was just so much fun to travel with the guys and stay in the hotels together and have a good time and, work the shows. And we just made a weekend out of it. And it was just something I had such a fun time with, being with guys like Harsh and Lightfoot and many, many others up there. ACW is definitely on the top of my list. WPW is on the top of my list. I really, I go back to, almost the beginning of my career with Mid-America Extreme. I mean, they really gave me my first shot. I won my first title with them, and that's a fantastic story if you guys want to hear it. But
oh, absolutely.
So, I had trained, 3-4 nights a week for a long time. We started running shows. I started getting in the heavyweight title mix and came down to a match where I was wrestling Harsh for the heavyweight championship for maybe the third or fourth time. And he was going over again, because he's a big guy and he's, beating the heel. And long story short, I go to pin him and he doesn't kick out. And, I win the championship. I'm confused as all get out because I don't know why he didn't kick out. I'm checking on him. I'm doing all this. I don't know what's going on. And I get to the locker room and it's a standing ovation of everybody part of the Max family clapping for me. I won my first championship. And I had chills, and I have chills now thinking about it. It was just fantastic. And that was, Harsh and Butch Fletcher, and Lightfoot just wanting to surprise me with it. And I thought that was fantastic. It was fantastic because I put in so much hard work and they wanted to reward me for the hard work.
Man, I'll tell you, that's definitely something else. And it almost kind of relates to a story that I had whenever I won my first title ever. But, of course, it wasn't a heavyweight title. It was a tag title. But I'm going to save that for another day. But, man, I'll tell you what. You talk about a guy, for me, I thought Doomsday was basically coming for me as a rookie. So, but it's kind of a fun surprise for you, though, getting that title win. So that was pretty awesome. With Max. And, like I said, we had Butch on here, was a couple weeks ago, I believe. So, Butch, Butch is definitely a longtime friend. He basically ran Max, and, it's definitely it's a lot of work putting into promotion. It's something that you never forget your first win, first title win, and that is an awesome story, man. So yeah, one question I'm going to move on here, and before I do, I just want to let everybody know that the listener line is open. Trust me, I don't know if it's going to top Reid's mom calling in, but hey, if you got
any other family members want to call in, that'd be great. Tell us some funny stories about them. It's okay.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. Like she even asked his dad, "Hey, you got anything on him?" That was about funny as hell. Oh my gosh, 3-1.
And another.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was
brother.
just gonna say, and I keep as I'm thinking about the past, I keep getting more information thrown into my brain, and I left another guy out. Izzy Blackwell was a very, very big part of my training way back when, and the conversations for hours after shows, breaking down matches at his house, watching and breaking down matches and getting you to understand what you're doing, how you're working, If it's I'm working legs or I'm doing back, what am I doing and why am I doing it? He was a huge influence with that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm,
Okay, I'm going to point out something. There's a question that keeps being asked in the chat room and all that to ask you about your worst injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Joker that keeps throwing that in because he thinks that it's funny. But it was realistically, it was my only injury over these years, believe it or not. And we were up in Iowa. We were in a heavyweight championship title match and it was a TLC match for the HCWA heavyweight championship. And, we're doing, some of the cool spots, with the ladder and all this kind of thing. And we decided to do a spot where we had the ladder sitting on two folding chairs. And obviously I was supposed to bump across my shoulders. And we were off, and it hit me across my lower back and bent me completely in half backwards where my feet and my head hit.
Oh.
And all I heard was a huge crack, and I completely went numb. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I thought I was paralyzed. So I just kind of rolled myself out to the concrete, to the cold concrete, and just kind of laid there, and I couldn't move for, I don't know, a good 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Ambulance came, everything like that, and just, long story short, got super lucky. It was a pinched nerve. Doctor basically said that, because back then I had a lot more muscles than I do now. And the doctor had said that, because I was in shape, the muscles around my spine is what saved me. But it was pretty scary. I was out for about 4 months for that.
Whew. Man, you're lucky it wasn't any longer. My gosh. Holy crap. Boy, me and GQ cringe over that.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing something like that. Wow.
It was brutal to watch. I mean, I watched it, had it recorded and all that, and it was pretty brutal to watch. It makes me cringe when I see it now. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that is pretty. Whew, that's awesome. That you came back after something that horrible. I mean, because back injuries are, trust me, guys, are nothing to be. It's nothing to mess around with, and I mean, definitely a back injury in this business is very crucial because that's where you're taking most of your falls on is your back. And that's when, if you get beat, you're laying on your back. No one likes to be on their back, but it happens. So, you got to treat that, you definitely of course, you got to take care of every part of your body if you're going to be in this business. And obviously, Reid and I can testify to that you have to be pretty much built tough for this, or else, if you're not built tough, you're not going to last long. And, I'm lucky to last as long as I have, and especially with Reid has too. And us guys, we're still trying to keep in shape and try to keep ourselves strong so we can keep going longer. So I hope we do, because who knows? I like to probably keep going when I'm at 50 as well if I can get around to it. But we haven't reached that pinnacle yet.
Right. Wasn't that last week, really?
Shut up. I am not 50. Unlike with the 300-year-old girl you keep running from. So, hey,
She was creepy!
So what? I think it was the mask and the size that intimidated GQ. So, but I was actually going to get to that injury question, but I'm glad we got to that because we wanted to make sure we make sure. Oh, I cheat. Okay. That's all he's got. Mr. Hashtag over here telling me that I cheat again. So I cheat, Rain. So, hey, PYT's in the house. Saying my boy, Reid Rain, PYT for life. So I guess once you're in, you're I guess you're for life. Yeah, but hopefully Oh yeah, and yeah, that was a missing, definitely missing element this past show with PYT, and can't wait to see them be part of a show here soon. So hopefully everything's getting better with Playboy and yeah, and with the rest of the gang. So so what I was going to ask here next here, Reid, is what was your what is your favorite gimmick match that you've been a part of, and also what is your favorite match stipulation?
Oh, you know, I haven't done a ton of gimmick matches other than, a few TLC matches, things of that nature. And I enjoy them thoroughly. I actually love TLC matches. But other than that, I haven't done a whole lot of, your quote unquote gimmick matches or hardcore matches or anything like that. What was the second question?
Oh yeah, like your favorite match stipulation. Like is it fall? Like no holds barred or no disqualification, or even if it's like 2 out of 3 falls Iron Man match. Do you think of anything that you've been a part of or you would like to be part of? As far as like
yeah, I'm gonna have to go right back to the TLC. I just think there's so much of a variety of things you can do with a TLC match. There's so many things you can do. You can, hang the title. You can, obviously do so many different sets with the ladder, with chairs, and I think that you could have 10 TLC matches in a row and not one of them be just like the last one. I mean, there's just so much of a variety of things you can do with it.
Oh yeah, I mean, TLC is never the same with that. And I'm gonna throw up a picture here that's gonna come up here momentarily since PYT is in the house and Joker you've been talking about. I'm gonna throw a little click picture up here that will be showing up here with you guys throwing up the. Hold on a second here. GQ I think left. GQ, what happened to you, dude? Hold on a second. Hopefully he'll get connected back. Alright, come on, GQ. Is he back? Hello.
He's frozen.
Oh my god. Oh jeez. Oh my goodness. Come on. Oh, that's not the one I wanted.
Actually, I think the whole feed is.
The whole feed is? Oh
Yeah.
gosh, what can I say, GQ?
You done messed up, Aaron!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it says network connection lost.
Network connection lost. Oh no. Well, try.
Hey, GQ.
Well, wait, hold on. No, that may not be you. That may be over here. So.
I was gonna
Hey,
say.
GQ.
Yeah, yes.
You need to pay your internet bill.
Blame my secretary for that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So you're totally down. Okay. All right. I guess I should be put. I don't know. Sorry, GQ. Okay, we'll continue on. We got. Oh.
Don't blame me.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No. I
can't view anything else. I'm guessing you're all still live. So I'm just saying. Everything was frozen for me for a second. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, no connections. Like, oh, probably me.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say. I know I'm good. I don't know if the live feed is good as well here too. So, hold on. I don't know if it's me or not. I'll have to check. All right. I think you got the next question though, GQ. Are you able? You got that? I know that's not internet based. You at least should have downloaded it. So, Are you lost? Where's the Bueller clip when I need it? Where's my Bueller clip? Bueller.
Hold on. My question now.
Yes.
Sorry, trying to fix everything on this end over here. So who would you consider to be your biggest in-ring rival and the best opponent to wrestle against? And what would you consider your most memorable match of your career?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I would say, I would say probably best in-ring rival, just because we spent so much time wrestling together, would be Shorty Big. I mean, we spent a couple of years, it seemed like, constantly, working back and forth and in different angles and things like that. I think that's it. I think it's Shorty Biggs. If I could look, throughout the whole career and, run as many matches as we did, I think that would be it with Shorty.
Oh goodness! So was that during the time that you had in Mex, or did that flow over to another promotion? Or
yeah, that was time with Max and UWA, Ultimate Wrestling Alliance. I spent a lot of time wrestling there too.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, him and I have probably wrestled, I don't know, 60 matches together, if I could guess.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Oh, so I got to do this again. You done messed up, Aaron. GQ's net's going down. So, all right, I'm sure he's still visible. Let me try and see if I can get you back up, GQ. Do. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second here. Okay, so there he is again. What? Yeah, okay.
Now, if we're starting to talk about new feuds, I kind of like this thing we got going on, you and me, Ruby.
Oh, you and I? Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be biting the bullet here, probably down the road.
I think you got another number one contenders match to contend